All right, good evening and welcome everyone to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Racing League Cup Series here at Michigan. Schedule distance is going to be 100 laps for tonight's event. Drivers making their qualifying laps right now. See point standings up on the top. So right now Larry Yingling with a 2-point lead over Kevin DeBrown after last week's race at Watkins Glen. Chad Wilkes, you can see, closes the gap up and now into the third spot in that 17 car, only 7 points out of lead. And then Ryan Kelly, he's been pretty consistent. Didn't have the result I don't think he was looking for last week, but still within 18 of lead. So right, those four really kind of stretching out a little bit. Maxwell Caldwell rounds out our top 5 in points. And 6th through 10th, we've got Brandon Pastelacqua, Andrew Pleshy, Skylar Brown, Robbie Richards, and Todd Merkel. So trucks, they're not too far away from each other with Watkins Glen and Michigan. However, they're going to drive very, very differently. I would say it's going to be a whole different ball game tonight here with Watkins Glen versus Michigan.
No, absolutely right. You know, a lot of these guys have just a ton of experience on these oval tracks, but you go to a place like Watkins Glen, and I'm included in this. I don't have a whole lot of experience on road courses. I'm much more comfortable on a track like Michigan.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the drivers here, and it sounds like the pace is going to really slow down over the course of the fuel run, possibly even like 2 seconds or more. So I think pit strategy is going to be more important than ever. Again, the 100-lap distance here tonight, it sounds like fuel windows right around 30 on the dot, depending on how aggressive you are driving the cars. It'll be really interesting to see if that comes into play or not here tonight. If maybe someone tries to kind of split those 3 stops evenly at the 25, 50, 75 mark, or does somebody stretch it out to that 30 mark all the way to the end? So kind of just really, I think it's going to really depend on that tire fall off.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And it's a group effort here. The tires wear in such a way at tracks like Michigan and Auto Club, where you're going to have guys who are loose and you're going to have guys who are tight, just depending on how they're driving. It's really going to be a group effort to save tires, to keep a hold of the cars, and to make this thing go green for 100 laps.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how it's going to pan out. Because, yeah, you're right. I mean, and these cars, we talked about these are going to be the higher downforce, lower horsepower package. So saying the draft is going to be extremely crucial, but at the same time, it's also going to make that car really drive differently in that dirty air. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to see. And so one thing to mention is that we got definitely have at least a ringer in the field tonight here, Dale. I'm not sure if you saw him sneak in there. We've got that 63 of Logan Helton. I think he's been doing some road to pro, so he's going to be a stout competitor for these guys. And then we got we got a fan of his in our YouTube chat, and also got a fan of Roy Grandy here tonight as well. So pretty cool to see you guys supporting your drivers here right away. And yeah, appreciate your watching as well. So we got to pull up our starting grid though for tonight's event. And on pole position is going to be that 13 of Ryan Kelly. Say he's going to start off very well here, Dale. Only 0.03 of a second quicker than Kevin Hash for that pole position. That's going to give him a bonus point, kind of close that gap just a little bit to those top three. You got Gabe Butler there in third, Andrew Pleshy, fourth, Dude Conrad rounding out our top five. And then say you see a couple of those championship competitors, Kevin DeBrown, Brandon Pasalacqua, Larry Yingling rounding out our top 8. 9th through 16th, you got Bud Steele, Logan Helton, James Ledford, Lewis Woodall, Michael Spell, Charles Johnson, Josh Schofner, and Todd Merkel. 17th through 24th, Kevin Freeze, Chad Wilkes, last week's winner. Skylar Brown in 19th, Andre Guetta in the 20th position. Eric Laurie, James Lee, Robbie Richards, and Mark Brown rounds out our top 24. And then the remainder of the field here, you got Roy Grandy, 25th, Josh Gardner, Maxwell Caldwell. He's been having some internet connection issues, or computer connection issues, I should say. So he's going to be kind of hit or miss for if he's able to get in here tonight or not. Then you got Dwight Plush and Paul Patterson rounding out our 29 drivers, hopefully taking the grid this evening.
You know, you mentioned, and I hadn't seen this until you mentioned it, but Logan Helton being here, we've seen him race in the past. Just to talk about the level of skill he has in these cars. You know, we watched him at the big money podium race earlier this year, and to be so good there and about as stiff of competition as you're ever going to see on an oval track, it speaks a lot for him. I know me and you was watching it and talking about it, and him being our favorite because we knew him, you know, so close to winning and winning that money. And just competitive the whole time. It speaks a lot for the level of skill he carries.
Yeah, I was saying that's going to be something the other drivers are going to be aware of that. I was saying that's going to be one of those things, like they'll probably almost use him as a bit of a benchmark. Obviously, Larry Yingling's one of those as well that people talk about week in and week out to keep an eye on. So I say I think it's one of those things where it's like you're going to be in that position, like you want to compete with the Logan Heltons, Larry Yinglings, and Kevin DeBrowns and company like that who have had success so far this season. So I think it's going to be a good benchmark tonight for those guys. And yeah, you're right though. I mean, I want to say he got second or third in that podium race. So again, hats off to him on that one. Say hopefully the racing he's been doing, like I said, I think it's the Road to Pro he's been playing with. So hope that's been going well. Haven't been able to follow, but I know a lot of the Area 51 guys have been following it. Really proud to kind of see the progress he's made over the past few seasons that he's been racing. It hasn't been that long. So yeah, so with that though, we got to get back to the race at hand here. Green flag just about to drop here. Ryan Kelly, Kevin Hash going to lead the front row to the green flag. And we are down and away. 100 laps is the scheduled distance tonight here at Michigan.
Kevin Hash got a great start there. He's able to pull along Ryan Kelly. Ryan was a little bit ahead of him there just past green, but Kevin Hash has pulled door to door with him.
Yeah, right now really tight through 1 and 2 here together. Now it's gonna, I think, be all about who gets the push on that backstretch here. Right now it looks like the 82 of Andrew Pleshy working with the 03 of Kevin Hash here. So we'll see if I think that momentum on the top side is going to kind of pay off for Kevin Hash here as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and if I'm side by side, I'd rather be the outside car here. I mean, honestly, you just get such a huge run. You're able to control what that low line's doing a little better. You know, you can pinch him down if you have to. But he's in the right spot.
Yeah, so you can see he was able to get that first lap led. And I'll say one thing we didn't mention, which you can see Ryan Kelly right there doing, is where he's running on track there. I'll say you really don't want to run the yellow line here at Michigan. And say I'll say kind of not really progressive banking per se, but that inside line right at the white line, it's a little bit flatter than that first groove up. So more often than not, especially in turns 1 and 2, you're really going to see these drivers try to keep above that white line. But as soon as I say that, Andrew she's just like, no, you can still run down there. As he grabs the lead off of Kevin Hash off of 4 here, he's going to lead his first lap tonight. But I think you're going to see a lot of these drivers, Dale, are going to be running that first seam as kind of the preferred line, it seems like here.
To me, it's where the car is most comfortable getting on and off the corner. Like I said, I'd always rather be that outside line. To me, the higher up on the track I am, the better to an extent.
Yeah, so you can see the Highline's been working. You see Kevin Brown making some pretty big moves here early. Started 6th. He's working on 2nd. Gets a little bit of a push. You can see he had to roll out of it just a bit. Try to stay off the door of Kevin Hash. They're really close there through 3 and 4 as they battle right now for that 2nd spot behind the 82 of Andrew Pleshy.
And you got contact back there with Chad Wilkes.
Yeah. Chad Wilkes going through the grass, the 00, I think, as well. I think I saw there Lewis Woodall. And it looks like they're both going to get away with it. He's going to try to get back out on track, and he is able to. And I'm saying I don't think either of them hit the pit cone, so I think we're going to get away with that one. I'll say while race still stays on the green, we're going to go back and see what happened between the two of them. And I'll say because it's unfortunate to say sometimes, even as a wide track as this is sometimes you just make a little bit of accidental contact. Nothing intentional, I'll say, but just from time to time it happens. Yeah, you can see those two just kind of come together in the trial. Will just, I think, kind of just going for the same place there, and just really good saves by the both of them. Lewis Woodall was all sorts of sideways both ways, but able to hang on to that 00 car.
That was definitely big contact. Interested to see what kind of damage and how it's going to affect him.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye. I said the problem for Lewis is he definitely lost the draft from all that. So it looks like Chad Wilkes able to recover, definitely towards the back now, but definitely time for him to recover from that. So we'll have to see, like I said, let's see if the damage plays a role in this one as well. And then while we were watching that, Larry Yingling, he's found his way towards the front now. He's up into that second position. He's got Kevin Brown behind him, and then pinned right now to the inside is Andrew Pleshy. And then on that top side, as we talked about him at the beginning, Logan Helton right there. He's got Ryan Kelly right behind him here, our pole sitter. I say, unfortunate for Ryan, they got the pole, but never got a chance to lead that lap. So I think it's going to be something he's going to be wanting to get done here in this race. And we talk about him being Mr. Long Run. So I'd like to see what he's able to do as this run progresses, see if he can save that right front tire maybe better than the others.
Yeah, well, we talk about how competitive, we talked about Logan Helton, we talked about Kevin Brown, Larry Yingling. But I wanted you to look at about, what is that, the top 10 drivers are within a second of each other still?
Yeah, say they're all locked on here. I try to even figure out where there's a gap. Let's say there's maybe about a car length or two between James Ledford there, and then Andre Guerra right there in 14th position. So I say that's really the biggest gap right now we've gotten with some of this lead pack here. So yeah, these guys definitely very racy here early on. I say, like I said, everybody just trying to find their marks here and try to kind of pick and choose where they need to go to make their way forward here.
Yeah, I've watched a couple guys, drop down to the bottom and try to make passes. Kevin Brown, Logan Helton just tried it, fell back. Andrew Pleshy fell back a little bit trying it. I think my strategy would be let's wait until the tires fall off a little bit and then start making these moves, try to conserve a little bit early on. Yeah,
you're exactly right. So that's how one of the viewers was mentioning as well. For Bobby Bergstrom was mentioning that this is a tough track on tires, so if they can if they can kind of manage the tires initially, they'll really make it interesting as the run goes on. Kind of lets the field spread out just a little bit. Oh, as I said, we're going to have contact in the backstretch where this likely will bring up the yellow. As I said, I'm proven wrong yet again here. We'll see if everybody's able to get back on track. Oh, Skylar Brown, he gets a bad shot there. Now the caution is out. Unfortunately, one driver getting back out on track. Just unfortunately, Skylar Brown, wrong place, wrong time, innocent bystander on that one. So that will bring us under yellow here. Let's go back and see how this all kicked off. And unfortunately, that 10 car just wrong place, wrong time, and unfortunately completely out of his doing at least from where I was watching. So take a look here try to get a better angle here. 3 wide off of turn number 2. Oh, actually, yeah, the 10 and the 88 kind of squeeze into the 60 Logan Helton. He takes a bit of a shot actually there. And the 50 here, Josh Schofner, I think he gets a bit of a shot. And then also that's where we saw James Ledford. He got caught up a little bit in that as well. But what happened, though, for the 10, where I guess he actually was in it initially, but what you're going to see happen here is when the 48, I believe it was the 48, gets back out on track. So you can't even see him on the screen here yet. But now that he's trying to find his way up to the track, unfortunately, I don't think he realizes the 10 car's there. And this comes right up to the side of that 10 car, and that just puts Skylar right into the outside wall. Nothing he can do. And then loops that car around and that's what brings out the caution there. So it looks like just those cars were involved. Everybody's hitting the pits here, it looks like, though. So we'll jump over to that now. That's going to be Kevin Hash leading the way here. So one thing we mentioned, or didn't mention yet, Dale, is there are 4 sets of tires in the pits here tonight. Will anybody maybe try to save a set for later on in the race? That could be an interesting factor if that comes into play here.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta consider it. We're at lap 10 now. We've had one caution. We've had nearly another caution. You got to kind of take that into play. If it's me, I'm going to try to save a set as long as I can, just because we know how important that is. Fresh tires at the end of the race. But you got to take into account, maybe these guys get it out of their system and we go green from here on.
Yeah, exactly right. And say we do have a mixed bag here tonight, because let's say one driver stays out. That was that double zero. We saw him get caught up in that earlier incident on the front stretch. So Lewis Woodall stays out, and then we had a couple fuel only stops. First of those coming out is the 63 Logan Helton, Josh Schofner as well, and or sorry, Jude Conrad as well. I apologize. And then Gabe Butler for sure also took fuel, and I believe Kevin Freeze, Charles Johnson, Eric Laurie did. So right now the top 4 drivers either did not pit or took fuel only there. And unfortunately, it looks like Maxwell, yeah, those computer issues are going to bite him. Isn't going to be able to make the race this evening. So, yeah, unfortunately, technical issues. Maxwell say we've all been there, done that. But say hopefully you can find something that kind of will help it out in the long run. So, actually got a lot of drivers ducking back into the pits here again, which I did not expect to see there. But yeah, I know I sent you some info on that, Maxwell. Hopefully you can try something, see if any of those settings help you out there.
I don't think Lewis Woodall. I question not taking the fuel. I really do. But him and Logan Helton on old tires. I don't think it's necessarily a bad choice because we know how quickly the tires fall off, and we know how difficult it is to pass here. So they're definitely going to fall back. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as say if this was next week and we were at Texas or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be interesting to see how they cycle through with this. You're right though. If I'm Lewis Woodall, I probably should have at least taken fuel. But the problem was too, when the time of that caution came out, I think he was by far the last car in the lead lap since he had to kind of do some off-road driving there in the front stretch. So I think he was thinking like, you know what, I want to get some track position back here. Even if this may not be the way to go, I'm gonna try it. So. He's going to be probably about 10 laps shorter now in fueling those guys around, which means he's going to have to pit probably around lap 30. I'd say probably, 31, 32, maybe save a lap or so here under yellow. So he's going to probably be banking on a yellow, hoping that he gets one here before they get to that next pit stop cycle.
Yeah, if it happens, it's a great move, If it doesn't happen, it's kind of tough luck, and hopefully he can recover, further in the race.
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of drivers did take 4 tires there. So right now, there's going to be a couple that have 1 to the good, but we've seen before where it doesn't always come out to pan out the way they want to. As you see, Lewis Woodall leads the way here back under green. And so the other thing is we saw Logan Helton kind of have to catch the outside wall a bit with that contact, so may have taken a faster pair there. We'll have to wait and see. But he's wasting no time here. Going to try to get the lead here into turn number 1. Larry England going to work with him there on the top, in the middle groove, I should say. That's it. Right now, we've almost got 10 in drafting right here down the backstretch.
Yeah, they were stacked up coming through 3 wide, turn 1. So real exciting racing. Very nerve-wracking if you're in that middle car.
Yeah. Oh, as I say, that close goal. We had contact there between the 82 and the 0350 gets caught up in as well. We got a lot of cars getting hit on this one, so caution is back out there. So you see drivers trying to slide through there. A couple cars also getting caught up in that one. But yeah, like I said, I think very aggressive driving with that different pit strategy that kind of put a few drivers in a bad place, and I think just the new tires versus old tires kind of stacked them up just maybe a little bit there. So we saw Kevin Hash, unfortunately, he got a bad shot on that one, but see who else was all caught up in this. So I think I saw the 93 get a little bit of damage as well here. We'll take a look from a different angle here. Try to see how it's all panned out. I think initially, Andrew Pleshy may have washed up just a little bit. That's that low line we talked about. Just doesn't have the grip. I think actually also the 03 had to probably lift a little bit not to get into Logan. But yeah, you can see Kevin Hash, he does get into the 93. They make a little bit of contact there. So maybe a little bit of left front damage. Actually, Ryan Kelly looks like he also went for a bit of a ride there. Actually hung on to it though. And then yeah, here's the 19 Andre Guetta. He gets a big hit, as does that 09 Josh Garner. I think they both get a little bit there. So let's say for being in the front of the field for that first incident on this restart, that could have been a lot worse than it was. Let's say unfortunately Robbie Richards got a little piece of it. I think he'll be okay with that. As you can see, Eric Laurie trying to sneak around there, but yeah. So say unfortunately quick yellow there under that most recent yellow. And it looks like some mixed strategy right off the bat. Say some drivers I think getting some damage fixed. Others are gonna. I think like I see the 63 pitting here, Dale. I think that's the decision of I'm gonna take those tires after all.
Yeah, and like I said, if the caution comes out quick and Lewis Woodall can come in and get what he needs done, it's going to work out great for him. So I mean, it's not what appears to be a horrible strategy. Turns out maybe not to be, but he's been on pit road quite a while now.
Yeah, you're right. I say yeah, it's in the 20s of seconds now. So I'll take a look. Say must be having some damage repairs done to that 00 machine. Say probably that off-road excursion. So we saw kind of those two cars kind of like wound up going through one another a little bit as well. So I feel like that may have played a little bit of a role in that one too. Maybe gave him a little more damage than usual. So Josh Schofner, we saw him take a pretty big shot. He's getting damage repairs done to his car. Kevin Hash, unfortunately, I say our second place starter here tonight, he's got heavy damage to that car. I'm surprised he isn't going to opt for a fast repair at this point. So you can see that whole rear, not the deck lid, but the what's that called? I always forget the name of the back section, the back panel of the car. So that's missing, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys have been forced to use fast repairs. We're coming around to lap 15, so still plenty of race to go, and quite a few guys have had to use those fast repairs up, so that's going to have some implications later on for sure.
Yeah, definitely will. And curious to see. I saw the 93. He made a pretty quick pit stop there. I'm thinking he may have opted to jump in and get that fast repair done on his car. We'll have to see if that is the case. So the car looks okay, but it was a very quick pit stop. So I'm thinking maybe just put a splash of fuel in and then put the fast repair in use as well. So I say he might have to keep that car clean to the rest of the race here now. Like I said, a lot of cars kind of shuffled around here on track. Our second place right now, our second place qualifiers pretty much right now dead last on the field. Dude Conrad's in the 20s. Gabe Butler's down into the 20s as well. So I said we got a kind of a mixed variation of who's where right now. Right now, the biggest beneficiary of that's that 81 of Todd Merkel. So he's in that inside row, going to restart fifth here. He's gone now from 16th to that fifth position, just kind of through getting forward and then also avoiding some troubles as well. And then also you see the 17 of Chad Wilkes. He's right in this mix now again as well.
It's worked out good for Chad Wilkes. Chad Wilkes involved in an earlier incident, able to rebound back off of that and going to be very well in this restart.
Yeah, he wanted to get that track position back in that 17 car again. He's going for that points championship as well. So we'll have to see how it's going to pan out. So I'll say I'm sure after that restart, drivers are going to be like, okay, we might need to tone it down a little bit on these restarts here. You want to get everything you can, but at the same time, you got to be there at the end. So for the most part, everybody stays out on that last caution, that quick yellow there. So we only got to turn one here. So now it's up to that number 82 when he wants to go. And so it looks like he's waiting a little bit later. Now he's down and away. He's got Larry Yingling to his outside. Brendan Paslock right behind him. Ryan Kelly in that fourth spot.
Brandon Paslock just got the best restart I've seen all season. I mean, it was almost instantaneous. When Andrew Pileshi went, Brandon was right on him.
Yeah, and Chad Wilkes, you see, wasting no time, straight to the inside as soon as he had the opportunity to get under Todd Merkel there. So Chad's going to try to get a couple quick positions here as we get back down the backstretch. Everybody getting back up to speed. But looks like right now, still side by side, though. You mentioned that 21 car got a good restart. He's going to have that top group here through 3 and 4. This might be enough to get that momentum to try to snag the lap lead here.
He's going to have that top groove, and he's got Larry Yingling behind him pushing. So I think he's in good shape to get this lap.
Yeah, it looks like he just got there. Like I said, I think Larry actually pushing him down that front stretch. So I get that lap lead, almost pushing him all the way into turn number 1 there. And so, yeah, so Brandon's going to clear, so he's going to take the top spot here in that 21 machine now as we start lap number 17.
Yeah, well, I mean, just a great restart. And we don't get to talk about Brandon being out front this early on a whole lot. He obviously, we talked about him being out front, but this early on in the race, he got just an amazing restart there.
Yeah, so now I say he's going to have his hands full of Larry Yingling as you see Larry drops to the inside here. As I'm pretty sure, I want to say they suggest not to run the apron there, but I saw about 4 or 5 of them doing so. So he's going to put his admin hat on if that's the case and be like, hey, just a reminder, don't be running down there. But yeah, so right now, let's say Larry Yingling snags a lap lead there as well. But we talked about the 17 getting around the the 81 of Todd Merkel. Todd's right back up in here again. He's up at that 4th position, so say Todd not giving it up either.
Yeah, he's up, where he needs to be running, able to kind of control his race from where he's at. I talked earlier about guys. Some guys are going to be tight, some guys are going to be loose. I watched Larry Yingling come off a 2 there that last lap and was real low and kind of got a little loose and allowed Brandon to get a run on him. And Brandon's got another run on him here through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's like Brandon's going to grab that lead back from Larry Yingling. Saying we talked about him last week at Watkins Glen. He's going to kind of keep off for where he left off. Performance-wise, that 10 of Skylar Brown, he's now up into that 4th position. So he's trying to make a charge here and see if he can find his way to the front as well.
Skylar Brown is my secret favorite. I've never said that, but every week, I mean, we've seen so much speed out of him. I definitely think he's got a win in him this season.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's like the problem he's just had is not being able to get to the end of the race without getting caught up in an incident, whether it's his fault or not. So I say we'll see if he can do that tonight. As you see, he's gotten to the outside corner of Larry Yingling, and saying he's got the draft as well on that on the 21 car, Brandon Pasalacqua. So this might help Skylar kind of creep his way up into that 2nd spot here.
Yeah, he's in a great position. Like I said, I'd rather be on the outside. He's definitely going to get by Larry. He's going to use Brandon to do that a little bit here. Now he's just going to have to set his sights on that 21 and get around him.
Yeah, so you see he clears Larry now. So he's going to waste no time. He's going to jump to the inside here. We'll see if Skylar Brown can get the lead in turn number 1. You can see, though, he's going to run the very low line. They're going to have to pull a slide job here. Now the question is, can he make it stick off of turn number 2? As Brandon Pasalacqua, he's going to try to do the crossover here. We'll see what Larry's decision is. I kind of thought I'd see Larry jump to the inside, but he's going to stay on the top side with the 10. That's going to help that 10 car have a chance to make this pass here.
Yeah, Brandon's all the way down on that yellow line through 3 and 4.
I think we're going to see a return favor here. You see the 21 slide up. I think we'll see the 10 jump back to the inside. There he goes. So I'll say Michigan isn't a track where I would have really thought about the concept of a slide job. But I say you kind of have seen it here when they enter really low, run that yellow line. So you can see Skylar's running it really shallow, entering the turn. I feel like that's what's hurting his outside, or his exit speed, I should say. And again, he gets clear of the 21, but 21's going to get that better exit speed down the back.
Yeah, and my concern is Skylar's just chewing up that right front, making that move. And eventually, I mean, it's just going to get so tight, he's not going to be able to pull that move. But right now, him and Brandon Pasalacqua just swapping lead back and forth.
Yeah, as I decided I'm going to hop on board Larry Yingling. He's got probably the best view of this fight for the lead here. I think Larry's just kind of, as you see there, Skylar again wants to jump to the inside. Saw Brandon block for just a second, then jumps back up there. But now Larry's going to jump to the top side. So again, though, I think we're going to see a similar situation. But you're right, though. I worry about that right front tire, Skylar Brown. But now you see he actually runs that seam, which is, I think, if you're going to run the inside, that's where you want to keep that car. But again, though, Brandon's going to have that momentum up top.
I think it's going to be too little too late. Brandon had the momentum coming off, and the top line just got so much power. When you see guys like Larry Yingling staying up there, the 13 staying up there, Brian Kelly, there's a reason for that. Yeah,
and that was a close call there between Larry and Skylar there. On that through 3 and 4 there. So Skylar just barely was able to clear him. I think just basically got tight and kind of just was able to squeeze up there in front of him. So yeah, close call between the two of them, but holds on to that 2nd spot. So now Larry's going to be under attack here from the 82 of Andrew Pileshi. So we saw Andrew lead a few laps on that restart. So now he's trying to find a way around. But right now, like you said, Dale, it's kind of just a gaggle up in the front group. And so I think Dad said, you know what, I don't want my kid to have all this fun. You see Mark Brown, he's right in this mix in that 68 machine. He's going to try to join this fight here as well in that 8th spot.
Yeah, we've been watching Brandon Pasalacqua, stay up on the top side through the down the front stretch, and he's been dropping down to the apron these last couple of laps.
Yeah, so I think the apron must be fair game. So I say that's something you can do here. I mean, the apron's a little bit bumpy here at Michigan, but at the same time, you're shortening that track a little bit. You can see Brandon now trying to break that draft as well. I say it's something we see on the IndyCar side of things a lot more often than on the Cup side, but that just tells you how important the draft is with this aero package. I say you want to get everything you can here, and just any extra speed you can get, the better.
Yeah, I was watching a little further back just now, back by Logan. I'm losing my train of thought.
I got you, Logan Helton with
Logan
Kevin
Helton,
Brown.
thank you, and Kevin Brown. Yeah, Logan ran real high through 3 and 4 and just got a massive run. He's running, what I consider to be super high again.
Yeah, you're right. You're kind of running the 3rd groove there. So we'll hop on board with him here and see what he's able to do. You can see, again, got that big run off of 2, jumps to the inside of Chad Wilkes here. We'll see if he can complete this pass through 3 and 4. But say, like I said, though, I think that outside line, though, like I said, I think that momentum is definitely there. And I think that's how you're going to have to make these passes happen, is get that big run and try to clear them through the turn and then get right back to the top.
Yeah, if I'm Todd Merkel or Bud Steele back there watching this, kind of getting a front row seat, I think I'm going to give that top line a shot.
Yeah, so the other thing those guys can do, I mean, if they're able to just kind of maybe take care of their tires, I mean, these guys are fighting pretty hard, I feel like. I mean, you see, they're all giving each other plenty of room, but I mean, this there's definitely not a lot of give going on right now. These guys are giving everything they've got here, it feels like. So, I mean, if they can keep their tires underneath them for a few more laps, let's say we're probably around 10, 12 laps away, I feel like, from the first scheduled set of green flag pit stops. And if they can make that happen, I think we'll definitely see some comers and goers with those tires if they can keep them under temperature and wear.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised this front pack has not spread out more than they actually are. I mean, they've been racing really hard, and everybody drives different. So, I mean, you suspect some guys to start falling back, some guys to start moving forward, but it's pretty much stayed steady.
Yeah, it's been really steady, Uriah. So you can see, again, Brandon's going to break the draft. This time, Skyler's not going to chase him around. Saying one of those guys we talked about for kind of Mr. Long Run is Ryan Kelly in that 13 car. And I feel like Ryan is starting to show a little bit maybe more pace. You can see Larry's just a couple car lengths off of Skyler there, but Ryan Kelly right on the back bumper of that 67. As I said, he looked like he was going to maybe try to make a pass, but he's going to stay behind him here. As you can see, right behind him, Chad Wilkes actually going to have a fight here, Logan Helton as well. And I think we're seeing exactly how these guys are trying to find where to make these moves happen. Ryan Kelly, actually, he's going to run a little higher than Larry. We'll see if he tries to get this big run off of turn number 2. Yep, there he goes. He's going to peek to the inside here, see if he can get the pass done through 3 and 4. And saying, I think Larry looks like may have lifted a little bit early there. I think that was maybe a little bit of teamwork between the two of them. Although, as I said, we'll see if Larry tries to cross over there, tight off of turn number 4 there.
Yeah, looked like the 13 had to check up and kind of check the 67 up a little bit there, but it allowed Andrew Paletti in that 82 to get to the inside.
Yes, Andrew and Paletti saw them do that. So he saw Ryan Kelly not get the run he needed. He's like, oh, don't mind if I do, guys. As Logan Helton, he sends it into turn number 1. He's got to slide up there in front of Chad Wilkes. But now, again, Chad's able to get that crossover. We'll see if he can get that spot back. And that's what we've been seeing here, Dale, is you can make the pass happen, but is whether or not you can kind of keep the momentum up after getting that pass done.
Yeah, I mean, they're throwing sliders now. It's almost like a dirt track. I think everybody's got used to running Dirt Bristol this week.
Yeah, so I think Dirt Bristol on their minds. Let's say, so the question is whether or not they're using the Dale Earnhardt Jr. rule of calling their slide jobs as they're doing it or not. But yeah, I mean, these guys are putting on a really good show here. And I think that's what we talk about, is just trying to figure out where the momentum is and how you're going to use it to the best of its abilities here. As I mean, we see Ryan Kelly, he's gotten around Larry Yingling. But now he's got Andrew Paletti with all sorts of pressure on the back of that 13 cars. Andrew's going to take a look here, entering turn number 3. I'm sorry. So yeah, so right now these guys are just they're fighting for all they're worth here. So these guys are teammates, but I think each one thinks they're probably faster than the other.
Yeah, you like to think that, but realistically, the fastest person on the track that time by was somebody we haven't talked about today, the 25 of Kevin Freese. And as I say to that, Logan Helton turns the fastest lap this time by.
Yeah, saying they're all in this lead pack as well. You're right, Kevin Freese from 17th to 9th, so he's kind of one of our super speedway aces, but he's showing he's definitely got some prowess at the regular races as well here. So it's been really cool to see some of the super speedway guys kind of just run the full season out here as well, and kind of show with like, hey, yeah, we can do this as well. And actually, as I said, that caution is out on the backstretch. Oh, Eric Laurie, big hit on the backstretch, so that's going to bring us under yellow. It's going to be a huge break for a lot of these drivers. That first pit stop window was not too far away from happening. So I think a lot of these guys some are going to be happy about it being under yellow. Some are going to be hoping it would have gone under green. But yeah, there's not going to be strategy here, Dale. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel.
No, you're absolutely right. You really don't have a choice this long into the run, unless you want to go clean to the back.
So I'll try to take a look, see what happened to Eric Laurie here. And it just gets a little tight off of 2. And then unfortunately, Dude Conrad he had all the momentum nowhere he could go. And so say the 071 gets into the back, or sorry, 8 gets into the back of the 071. And then Eric Laurie went for a ride there. Heavy contact with the inner inside safer barrier there. But yeah, nothing Dude could do, unfortunately, on that one. Just wrong place, wrong time. So hopefully his car's not too hurt after that. Say maybe a little bit of nose right front damage on the 8 machine. Yeah, a little bit of right front damage, but yeah, so won't be any strategies on this one, Dale. We're going to be seeing 4 tires and fuel for all these drivers, which was going to leave us, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, with 2 sets of tires remaining for the rest of the field here. So basically, we're going to restart with about 65-ish to go. So we're going to have to kind of use these tires wisely.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at that last run, you know, a second and a half fall off over 24 laps. So it's not been terrible, but it's also not the greatest. So they're definitely going to have to conserve what they have.
Yeah, so it just depends on how the cautions fall here. The other thing is this won't be quite in the window to make it. Oh, Ryan Kelly, you can see overshoots his pit stall. It's going to cost him a handful of spots there, unfortunately. But I say the question is also going to be the strategy calls. Logan Helton's a quick stop there. And I think another fuel strategy stop possibly for Logan Helton. Not sure if that's fuel only or 2 tires possibly. But he's going to come out with the lead. But again, though, I think the only one this time around to make that pit strategy.
Yeah, it looks like Logan was a fuel only stop. So again, this, you know, Logan had what 24 laps on his tires, I think. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting see how his car fares. I say maybe feels like track position more important than the tires, but yeah, well, I'll be curious to see how this one pans out. Say Chad Wilkes, he's another big gainer through this whole cycle. He's now up into that 4th position. Say Skylar Brown, he's able to hold steady there, and he's going to be in the 3rd spot on this restart. So yeah, so and say also looks like Kevin Freese, he had a good pit stop. He's going to gain a couple here, and he'll be restarting in that 6th position.
Logan's going to have to really jump early and get to the top side, or he's going to get swarmed on here, you know. And I won't say the advantages are going to be to the inside or outside line yet, just depending on the restart. But one of these lines is going to check up hard going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think if you're Logan, I actually think you stay with the inside line, but it's a shorter distance around. But yeah, you try to get a good restart. That way you can get to the top and kind of get that arc into the turn. But I say the one that unfortunately we do have to mention that didn't have a good pit stop there, Ryan Kelly. He's going to drop back to the 10th position. He was running, I believe, around 3rd or 4th at the time of that caution. So unfortunately, that little bit of a pit road miscue is going to cost him a handful of spots. So I think right now the highest climbers probably between Skylar Brown. Say he's gone from 19th to 3rd. We've talked about him already. But another big climber here is that 18 Roy Grandy. Say Roy has gone from 25th to 14th in that 18 car. So I was joking with him a little bit earlier during practice, saying that car looks like it should be glowing in the dark there. So he's rocking the Taco Bell scheme again on that 18 machine. So yeah, good gain for him so far. Saying we're only in the first pretty much 1/3 of the race, so still a long ways to go. We'll have to see how these guys can kind of progress the rest of the way through this one. All right, Dale, so it's going to get handed over to Logan Helton here. We'll actually we'll look from behind from Logan Helton. We kind of suspect he's going to be able to get a good restart here and try to sneak away from Brandon. So these guys are going to have to be quick on the draw on these restarts. And I said the one I'm going to watch is Skylar Brown, because usually the inside line is going to be the benefit, or being behind the leader, I should say, is going to be a benefit. As you see, he's down and away. Does get a pretty good start there, Dale, so he's going to be able to get some room here and get that nice arc into turn number 1.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do. But Brandon Pastelak was also able to get that same arc, and he's going to definitely carry some speed coming off it too.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the momentum that 21 has. Now the question is, where does Brandon go? He's going to duck to the inside here off of turn number 2. Now, can he use those fresh tires and grab this lead right back from Logan Helton as they hit turn number 3?
And that's exactly what Skylar Brown wanted to see. He wanted to see Brandon come to the bottom. It allows Logan to clear. I'm sorry, it allows Skylar to clear Logan. Logan is stacking everything up behind him.
Yeah, see, it looks like they're trying to go almost 4 wide there for a moment there. You see Andrew Pleshy, he rolled out of it a little bit to get in behind Chad Wilkes there, but we are going to go 3 wide here. As you can see now, Andrew Pleshy, he's trying to squeeze just in front of Todd Merkel. They get through it. But yeah, we'll see how, I mean, this could be a short-term loss, long-term gain for Logan here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But wasting no time though is Skylar Brown. He's going to try to get that lead. So he's trying so hard earlier. Now this is his best opportunity here.
Yeah, I mean him and Brandon. I won't say either one of them was faster than the other one that last run. I mean they were really maintaining the same pace, and as we just saw, they just kept swapping back and forth, low line to high line.
Yeah, I say Brandon's just going to eke ahead there at the line again. Saying it seems like Skylar, I think really what happens is he just gets that entry, but unfortunately just can't get the exit he needs. You can see he lost so much momentum there. It's actually opened the door for Chad Wilkes. Chad's going to make a big move. He's going to grab the third spot. Now he's working on second for Larry Yingling. As actually, caution's back out. Looks like I think the 6 of Bud Steele caught up in the heavy damage for Bud Steele. I'm trying to see if others are involved or not. I think I saw a 00 of Lewis Woodall have a little bit of a moment as well, or a little bit of smoke coming from his car. Trying to take a look at Logan Hilton. His car looks clean. But yeah, definitely heavy damage to Lewis Woodall as well. So let's see what brings out this next caution here. And say I think for Logan it's going to kind of be a decision there where you might as well take the tires again. But let's see where this all kicked off. I think it was around the 6 and the 00 though. We'll take a look as they're going through 1 and 2 here. Actually 3 wide a little bit. The 18 of Roy Grandy. It looks like Roy slid up just a little bit, caught the 00, which then caught the 6 car, and actually it was right in front of a handful of drivers here. We'll see if who's all able to clear through there. You saw Logan actually just sneak by. I think that car is clean, so what we'll do here, so I'm gonna be getting accused of favoritism here, and I apologize, but I think he got away with it, so we'll watch this from his onboard to kind of get a look at speed as what happened there. Yeah, it looks like I think he got away with it. I mean, say got to slow down. You can see just all the smoke that was there. It's hard to see what's going on. But yeah, so fortunately though, the 6 and the 00 are going to get the worst ends of that one. I believe both should still have a faster pair remaining. But yeah, pit stops are underway, and I see a handful of drivers in here, Dale. And I think this is actually a strategy point here, because this is making it now where you can, if you pit here, you can make it on one stop from this at this point in the race if we go green.
Yeah, and that's you see quite a few people coming down. Looks like about 5 or 6 drivers electing to actually more's coming into camera view, electing for that little fuel stop there. Logan Helton obviously going to take tires.
Yeah, I think Kevin Brown, one of the first to do that fuel-only strategy in that 93 car. And yeah, so sure enough, the 00 did have a faster pair remaining, so he's back out on track. It looks like also, I think I saw the 13 there as well. He's going to go ahead and do the same. So, yeah, so going to have a few cars making that pit strategy here to top off, which I say, again, I mean, if we go green, which we were very close that last run, there was a good opportunity for that to happen. This is a good strategy. I mean, you can make it now on one stop to the end. The remainder of the field are going to probably have to at least take a splash of fuel, so I think this is a good call by these guys. So it's also going to shake the running order up a little bit. One driver we have not really talked about yet tonight is that 19 car, Andre Guetta. He is in that Toyota Valvoline machine. He's up into that 7th position now, Dale, with getting moving, same thing, kind of working his way up and avoiding some of the incidents, and he's in a really good spot now as well.
Yeah, he started in 20th, like you said, up in 7th, so net gain of 13, which is big here. We've seen how close to racing is, how important the draft is. He's up in a position now where he can make some moves, maybe see what guys like Brandon Paslacqua, Chad Wilkes, Larry Yingling are doing, and get a little farther forward in the field.
Yeah, another thing to mention, so some of those that did pit, I think one of the few that pitted for tires there was Logan Hilton. We just talked about him at 63, so he's going to have a couple lap fresher tires. Not sure if that's going to be enough to make a difference for him or not to work his way through the field, because he's going to be restarting a fair ways back here. I believe in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken. We'll take a look for the cycle through. That's 24th position here. So again, though, I'll say this is a few of these guys. This is a fuel strategy call, and this one you see Chad Wilkes actually he's running the apron. I think he's going to try to save fuel even without pitting there. Another one I got to mention, James Lee. He's gone from 22nd to 12th in that number 54 Caterpillar car. So also a good run for him. I was saying Josh Garner, we saw him get caught up in an early incident. He's now back up into that 13th spot as well. So some of these drivers having some pretty good recoveries after some early difficulties.
Yeah, everybody now, they just kind of got to focus on calming down, gaining a little patience, letting the race progress a little bit. You have various tire strategies now with Logan Helton again starting restart in 24th, but on 4 fresh rubbers and very, very fast.
Yeah, so now the question is going to be, those are the ones I want to watch, that are going to be the Kevin Brown, Ryan Kelly, who topped off on fuel, and then, of course, Logan, who has the 4 fresh tires back there as well. So it's going to be fun to see what they can do, how much ground they can gain. But again, let's say they're going to be wanting this to go green now to the end. So it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy plays out here. Say pace car is just about to head in, and Brendan Paslocko, he's going to lead this one again on this restart. Yeah, we're going to restart this one with 59 to go here.
They kind of caught him sleeping there, it looks like. He's come out to a big gap.
Yeah, so he was ready for it. Say Larry did not see them going as quick as they thought. So you can see Chad's able to get to the side of that 67 car. We'll see if he can clear the pass here through 1 and 2. Andrew Pleshy going to try to follow along as well here. I'll say those two very tight off of turn number 2 there.
Yeah, Brandon would have liked them all to stay side by side a little longer. They did, but Andrew Pleshy's coming up there to get next to Chad Wilkes will slow him down a little bit. He doesn't quite make it to him.
Yeah, I say Chad Wilkes is one that he was on a big momentum run there that last run before that caution came out. And say he looks like he's going to continue where he left off. He's going to jump to the inside of the 21. Won't lead this lap, but I think he's definitely going to try to see if he can get that run. You see he's going to move up a little bit, try to get that arc in turn number 3, and you can see definitely wants to run that seam there, does not want to get to that yellow line.
Yeah, Brandon just committed to that high line through the corner, really didn't have anything else he could do. But he has Larry, who's been running the high line all day behind him, kind of shoving him down the backstretch.
Yeah, so right now these guys putting on a really good show here up front. And you can see Chad's able to get to him, then can't quite do enough to clear. And something I haven't talked about yet on the Cup side of things is that side draft. We'll have to see if that comes into play as well. So we talked about that. You get that your right front, left front into the quarter panel or the rear quarter of that car next to you, and you can kind of stall them out a little bit. I believe it also works on these speedways, not just the plate races, or super speed races, I guess I should say. They don't really run restrictor plates anymore. But I'll be curious to see if that comes into play or not. So like we'll see right here, does that 67 kind of slow it down as the 17 gets near him? And it kind of looked like Larry did stall out there just a little bit, even with Brandon's draft.
Yeah, and Brandon's up here kind of off in his own. He doesn't have a huge lead, but he's got everybody racing behind him, so he's in a great position.
Yeah, he can kind of control the field right now with where he's sitting in that 21 car. So if he just kind of protects that middle to top lane, I think that's where he needs to be right now. I think Larry also, we know Larry, he's very wily. I don't think he's showing his full hand yet either. So that being said, I don't think Brandon's making it easy for him by any means, but I'd be curious to see if at some point Larry's going to try to maybe make a move here on that 21. But I think right now just kind of content to ride, if you can call that riding here, and saving a little bit of fuel.
Yeah, I watched Larry there for a few laps. He would get, and he might do it here too, down at the end of the straightaway and even into the corner a little bit. He just pressed onto the bumper of that 21, similar to how Skylar Brown is on him now.
Yeah, so as soon as you said that, you saw the 17 Chadwell, because he jumps to the inside here. And I think now Skylar's realized, okay, that inside line hasn't been working, so I'm going to stay on that top side. I want to keep this track position, because every time I've tried going low, be it for the leader just to make it pass, I wind up cycling back a few spots. So I think that 10 has learned from experience there and where he needs to position that car here. As you can see, actually able to almost get his nose to the outside quarter panel, that 67 off of through 3 and 4.
Yeah, if he gets a little bit of help up there, if Chad will get up there to the 10, maybe they can push around Larry, but Larry's committed up, to the top as well. We haven't seen him lead the wall much.
Yeah, so you'd have to really run the top line to make it happen. And I think just the pace where it is right now, you still want to be running this that inside seam at this point in the race. So as I say, though, 10's going to come back to the inside here. Now he gets back in line. I think it's hard to make that decision of you want to make that move, but at the same time, like I said, it's going to cost you a few spots if you can't do it just right.
And that, you used to, the way to pass here used to be on the bottom. So these guys are kind of going with what they know, and just the way iRacing is, the way they update and patch it and change, it's very dynamic. That's not the way to do it anymore. So they kind of have to break through some old habits.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we were talking about seeing the progression of some of our drivers here that went ahead and pitted there. Kevin Brown was the first one we talked about there. It looks like he is definitely making his way forward. Oh, I saw one go down towards the backstretch here. Not sure if they spun or if it's going to bring out a yellow. So far, I don't see anything. But Kevin, he's worked his way back up into the top 10 in that 93 machine. And I say he's been bringing that 13 as well with him there. But now I say Kevin's able to separate himself just a little bit. Then also here comes that 63 Logan Helton with those slightly fresher tires. So these guys have been able to work their way up into the top 10 right now. I say, and only about 2 seconds off the lead. So right now I think that strategy is not a bad one for these guys.
Yeah, Logan Helton is digging. I mean, that last trip through 3 and 4, I think he passed 3 cars. He's driving it all the way down to the bottom and just ripping around this racetrack right now.
Yeah, so when you got better tires, you can make the inside line work. As you can see, oh yeah, he has to back off not to get into the back of the 93 car. Just showing the difference of the tires on those cars. Even those couple laps looks like they're going to make a big difference here. So I say now he's going to try to latch onto the back of the 93, push him through the front stretch here. If he can get Kevin cleared, I say that's going to help him get himself cleared. As Kevin does go top, we'll see, I'm sure, Logan send it here into turn number 1. And yeah, sure enough, he does go straight to the bottom. Now, if he can clear himself up, so that's going to give him a little bit of clear on the nose of that 63. You see, he's able to do it and not lose a ton of momentum. That just tells you how much pace with those tires that 63 car, I should say, has.
Yeah, obviously Logan Helton in the 63 is faster on the fresher tires. If I'm Kevin Brown, I'm going to try to latch on to him and work my way through traffic. But the 18 is getting right there too.
Oh, that was close. Yeah, I was watching. I thought for sure there was going to be contact there, but saying the one we were going to talk about too on that was Ryan Kelly in the 13 car. So he's been able to tag onto the back of these 2 as well. So these are the 3 that pitted there under that last caution. These are the first 3 in that strategy. Some have fresh tires, some are fuel only. And then actually, I can't not mention him as well. Lewis Woodall on that 00 Pepsi machine. Lewis is right there behind him as well. So he's doing the same thing here. I think he's fuel only as well, plus a fast repair. But he's right there on the same strategy, and he's in a good position should this go green.
Yeah, still plenty of race. I just crossed the halfway mark, so still coming around. We're going to have 49 this time by. So plenty of time for these guys to catch back up. We know we're going to have another pit stop eventually. So everybody just needs to stay patient and keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly right. We can see those tires. Logan's been able to sneak away just a little bit. Now Kevin's to the top of 3 wide. He's fighting with Ryan Kelly there. So I think Ryan's got some tires starting to show on his machine. So we talked about him kind of being Mr. Long Run. However, he got pinned to the inside, lost a little bit of momentum here. It's going to let the 93 sneak away just a little bit here. But now the first of those on the tires, on the fuel end tires, I should say, is Logan Helton now, who's up into 6th position. And you can see he's been able to separate himself a little bit. So he's getting now to kind of the guys that have been up front all race long. I'm going to be really intrigued to see how he's able to compare with him on the fuel and tires compared to what they are with us about 5 or so laps older tires.
Yeah, Logan that time was 4/10 quicker than Brandon Pastelacqua, who's our current leader, and he's only about a second back, so he's definitely going to get there.
Yeah, the question is, once you get there, can you make the move to get the pass down? You can see he's actually, even with having some room around him, he's still going straight to the inside line. But you can just, even going to the bottom, keep so much momentum in that 63 car. So right now, that strategy call he did with taking fuel only and then that quick caution, even that like I said, just those couple laps have made a huge difference on these cars. Like I said, also him, the 93 and the 13 are just a few of those that should be able to make it on one stop should we go green here.
Yeah, Logan Helton gets by Kevin Friesen at 25 to take the 5th spot. So
yeah, so he gets a little bit of a boost on the backstretch as well. You see Kevin was able to get to his back bumper and kind of push him, give him a little bit of extra speed. So that's going to only help his cause there to kind of close that gap even quicker on these top 4 now in front of him.
This is where it gets a little different. So he's coming up on Larry Yingling, Chad Wilkes, and Skylar Brown, and they're so close. He's not going to be able to pass them all 3 in one corner, and he's not going to be able to slide up in front of any of them.
Yeah, I say this is where I think you got to time these runs right. And so we'll see. This is maybe where we see a side draft attempt as well. Maybe try to slow that car down a little bit, and it lets you pull right up to him. However, though, as we say that, though, Chad Wilkes, he's going to put a move here on Larry Yingling. So it looks like Chad's going to grab that 2nd position here. So I say these are kind of these moves I say might open the door for that kind of that momentum shift and help that 63 close that gap.
Yeah, Chad Wilkes drops all the way to the bottom in front of Larry Yingling, trying to keep what he's gained. Everybody goes back to the top side. I thought Logan Helton was going to stay low, but he follows him up.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you're talking about, Dale. The way you said it, he can get inside somebody, but I don't think he's gonna be able to complete that pass. So I almost wonder if he might just be content here. He knows these guys are gonna have to pit in probably about 8-9 more laps here if they were able to save a lap or so under caution. And so you can see he knows that he's also been able to separate himself from those other drivers that went ahead and topped off on that last yellow as well. Because right now Ryan Kelly is actually the highest of those that pitted. Actually, as I say that, he's not going to waste any time. He's going to somehow squeeze between the wall and that 10-car Skylar Brown and try to grab that 4th spot.
Yeah, they're going to have the run on Skylar coming off the corner here. Larry Yingling is going to be a much tougher customer. Where he's been running as fast as he is on older tires everywhere we go. Not anything against the skill of Skylar, but Skylar has been trending to that low line and keeps making an attempt at it, but we know that the top side has been faster all day.
Yeah, I see Skylar's kind of pinned to the inside. You're going to see him try to see if he can maybe squeeze in there, but I think that 63 is right on that right rear quarter panel, so it's going to open the door for Logan here to get a big run off of turn 2. But actually, as I say that, Larry's going to go to the inside line, give Skylar the draft here down the front stretch. That's going to kind of hamper Logan's efforts just a little bit there because we talked about how important that draft is to make these positions.
Yeah, but while the 63's been battling the 10, at 25 of Kevin Freese has snuck back into the picture.
Yeah, Kevin is right there. Like I said, he's one of our super speedway experts, if you will. He's one of those ones to watch week in and week out over there. I say now 63 is able to pass, as was the 25 though. So you're right though. Now you got Kevin Freese right into the top 5 in that Miller Lite machine. So I say he's doing a great job. And now Logan's actually able to get to the inside of Larry Yingling. We'll see if he can complete the pass. He does. So Logan able to make quick work of that 67 car with those slightly fresher tires.
Yeah, he just completely proved me wrong on that one.
Well, I think what happened is it was that gap we talked about there, Dale. You said he was far enough, or Larry was far enough away from Chad Wilkes here. But I think Chad Wilkes, he's been kind of saving those tires a little bit because he's really closed the gap on Brandon Pastelacqua after grabbing that 2nd position. But right now we got these top 6 cars actually have about a 2-second gap over now the 7th position of Ryan Kelly in that number 13 car. Kevin Brown's been able to follow him through. So these two did top off on that last yellow, so they should be able to make it on a one-stopper here as far as we know. I'm saying right now I feel like those 3, the 63, the 10, the 63, the 13 and 93, I think are in a really good position here on the fuel strategy.
Yeah, Logan Helton, I'd like to say that he'd be able to make it on a one-stopper too, but he's just been driving so hard. He's trying to gain all the track position back he lost. Doing a great job at that, but man, he has really been wheeling this thing.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, you don't know how much you're having to abuse the tires and how much you're using up your fuel to do it. So you're very right. I mean, it could have been enough to burn enough fuel, especially with those fresh tires when everybody was on slightly older tires. They're running the top groove as well for a little while. Say running the long way around the track is actually, we got a good battle here. So up front we do, but then also you see Larry Yingling. It looks like he's actually going to roll out of it here. I think Larry may have burned those tires up in that 67 car. As you see Skylar Brown, he's going to grab 4th. Kevin Freese is going to grab that 5th spot. And so obviously while we were watching that, Skylar Brown was able to also get around Kevin Freese at some point. So he's back up into that 4th position.
That's one of the things that makes Larry a great driver. As you talk about it, he rolled out, he gave the position up. We still got 40 laps to go. He knows that, and he also knows what his car is and is not capable of. So if he feels he's trending tight or trending loose and he can't safely hold his position or make a pass, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, Larry is definitely one of those drivers that actually adheres to the give and take model that you hear drivers talk about so frequently, where you want people to give you room and all that, but at the same time, you want to take when you have the opportunities, but you're going to race how they race you. So you see Larry, and I think that's just how he gains so much respect from his fellow drivers here. As he does that, you expect him to see him up top 3, top 5, whatever it is, week in and week out, and so maybe those tires aren't quite what he needs them to be right now. So he said, okay, you know what, go ahead. I don't have that pace right now in that car. Or Larry being Larry, because he's falling back a little more than I would suspect here. I'm thinking Larry might be trying to stretch his fuel mileage here maybe a little bit also in that 67 car.
Yeah, and he's on lap 30 of his fuel run, so you could be very right. He might be trying to be squeezing another lap or two, out of it from what everybody else around him is, knowing that Logan Helton, can go 6, 7, maybe 8 more laps. Kevin Brown, another one of them. Ryan Kelly, another one.
Yeah, you see Logan, he's been trying to work Chad Wilkes, hasn't been able to make the pass. He's going to dive again here into turn number 3. You can see he's actually, he almost lefts are just below the yellow line to really try to loosen that car up a little bit to help it free out. And it looks like that worked that time. He is going to clear that 17 of Chad Wilkes and move Logan up into second. I'll say Brandon Pasolaco, I'll say it's probably some of the harder competition he's had to face now since he's taken the lead, as he's got slightly fresher tires behind him now.
Yeah, I can't do what Logan just did here. That was pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, so there's a couple tracks here, like California and Michigan, say kind of sister tracks. 3 and 4, you can get away with getting your lefts just on the yellow line, white line, or maybe just an inch below it. We'll see if Logan does the same here again. As you can see, yeah, you can see those tires just about touching that yellow line there, and it'll give you just a little bit more grip, a little bit more rotation there. But you can see though, say I think Brandon Pasolaco, with him having that clean air all this race or all this run under this green flag so far, Dale, I think that's really put him in a good spot where I think that his tires are probably in the best shape of anybody's.
And Brandon showing that as he was just a hair faster than Logan that time by. But I want to talk about the fastest car on the track right now in that 4th position is going to be that 10 of Skylar Brown I've talked about so much today.
Yeah,
running a full 10th faster than the leaders.
I was going to say, I just looked at that lap time too. It was like, that was a 10th faster, and that's on old tires, so hats off to him. As again, you see Logan going to peek to the inside. I think Brandon's going to be able to hold him off, and while they're doing this, again, this is going to slow their pace a little bit down. That's going to bring Skylar right back into this. And again, this is going to be right in their pit stop window here. Probably in the next lap or two, I feel like we're going to start seeing our leaders start peeling off. Again, we talked about that fuel window being right around the 30 or so mark. Maybe stretch it a little bit depending on the pace fall off, which right now they have fallen off about 2 seconds, Dale. But yes, I mean, the closer Skylar Brown can get to them at this pit stop window, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're coming into that window. At least Brandon Pasolaco, Chad Wilkes, Skylar Brown, Kevin Fries. They're in the top 5 are coming into that window very rapidly.
Yeah, so they're starting lap number 33. I see the 21 peaking at. Here comes our race leader, Brandon Pasolaco. He is going to pit from the lead. So now his goal is got to get down to speed and not get too fast on entry. Looked pretty clean there. So he's going to be the first of our leaders to pit, which is not a surprise as he was the one leading the field that whole way around. So now that's going to cycle Logan Helton to the lead. Again, he can run probably about 4 or 5 more laps, we feel like, which I think would put him right in that window to make it on a one-stopper strategy. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. And actually, again, we talked about the pace of some of these drivers. Fastest car last time around this time, Dale, Ryan Kelly, that 13 machine.
Yeah, you talked about him saving tires. I mean, it's funny how it's swinging, but it's not swinging by a little bit. I mean, he's a half a tenth faster than Logan Helton, our current leader. And I believe Logan, are they on the same tire strategy?
Logan's got fresher tires than Ryan Kelly as well. I say now that Logan's got the clean air, he actually goes about a 1/10 of a second quicker than Ryan Kelly that last time by. However, we talked about some of these drivers that are able to save fuel. Kevin Fries, he's going 1 more lap still, and he was one of those drivers that actually pitted didn't pit on the one to go, or not the one to go, but that second quick caution. So he's been able to save some pretty good fuel in that 25 machine. It looks like he's now about to peel in here. I said the other one I want to be watching is Larry Yinglings. We talked about him maybe saving fuel, and Larry's actually, I think Larry is doing what we said, Dale. I think he is stretching it in that 67 car, and he's going to go another lap there. So I think Larry's working on making, I think that's what he didn't, it wasn't that he didn't have pace, Dale. It was that he wanted to make sure he can make it to the end on one stop.
Yeah, that's a great strategy call for him, and for him to realize, hey, this is what I need to do at this point in the race to make that happen. Hats off to him for having that kind of foresight. Brandon Pasolaco just pitted, came out, had a great pit exit, and just now worked his way around our leader, Logan Helton, to get his lap back.
Yeah, I was saying I was going to say, here's the difference of new tires versus old tires. You saw how quick Brandon was able to separate them. I was saying, even with the draft, Logan's not going to be able to keep up that 17 car. So right now, importantly for Brandon, that puts him back on the tail in the lead lap. Doesn't have to worry about a wave around. But you can see Logan Helton there got really tight in that draft there. Got that dirty air from the 21 car. And that's going to bring 17 to Chad Wilkes. He's going to try to unlap himself here very shortly. As Larry Yingling does hit the pits this time. He pitted there coming to 31 to go. Let's say this next time by is going to be 30 to go. So I'm going to be curious to see, are these guys going to pretty much run their tanks out dry, or do they pit once they think they're in the window? And it looks like my question is being answered as Logan Helton stays out. as do Ryan Kelly in the 13, as well as Kevin Brown in the 93. And you can see these two are working together here, trying to keep their pace up right now, and try to help close that gap. Which last time by, yeah, they gained about 2-3 tenths of a second on Logan. I think we saw that bobble off of 2.
Yeah, and Chad Wilkes just laying heaters down. I mean, a 37.9. Granted, fresh tires, but still.
Yeah, say right now our fastest lap of the race, 37.64. Mark Brown earlier in the race. And you see here comes Ryan Kelly. He's going to hit pit road from the 2nd position. Logan Helton also in the pit, so that's going to cycle Kevin through to the lead here. So that's going to give that 93 car a lap lead there, give him a bonus point as well. So we know how critical those are, especially throughout the course of a season here. So you see right to his outside is that 25 of Kevin Freeze. Say Kevin's trying to get his lap back here, get back on the lead lap here. So say Kevin's going to be able to stretch it one further lap than those guys around him, get him a lap lead, and I think we'll see that 93 hit the pits this time.
Yeah, I don't see how he can go any further as he's hitting the brakes to come down pit lane.
So yeah, so make sure he gets down to pit speed. Looked like he was able to get down there. Kevin Hash also just hit the pit road as well. Right behind him, say Kevin Hash, we talked about him, our outside pole sitter, had some bad luck early on, but he's been recovering well. Dwight Plush also hitting the pits. He was one of the last ones. I think he is the last driver to make their green flag pit stop here. So let's say they were able to really work their fuel mileage out. So with this all cycling through here, what this has done is this is going to put Brandon Passalacqua back into the lead. However, again, should we stay green here, Dale, these guys will need to make a splash of fuel to make it to the end. But what I want to see is going to be their gap that they've been able to grow on the rest of the field here, with kind of pitting a few laps before, because you can see 1-2 here all within just a couple of tenths of each other. Skyler Brown about 3 seconds off. It looks like Logan Helton about 6 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, I think if I'm Brandon Passalacqua when I'm getting worked on by the 17 of Chad Wilkes, I'm going to let him go and just follow him and save as much as we possibly can. Get on the radio, with his team. Hey, let's work together. Let's make this thing happen.
And so that's actually a really good point. I mean, unfortunately, they are going to be a little bit off pace compared to what these drivers that pitted later than them are going to be able to do. But it isn't. I mean, that is an idea. We just saw Larry Yingling. He was able to stretch that fuel mileage in the 67 car, where he was able to, I believe, make it on one stop. Larry right now is in the 7th position, right behind Ryan Kelly here. And then Kevin Brown not too far behind them as well. So Larry was able to make that work well for him, I feel like, to use that fuel strategy and save those couple of laps there to be able to put himself in that window to make it to the end. So can a Brandon Passalacqua or a Chad Wilkes, can they maybe save that fuel here on this run to be able to stretch it to the checkered?
And Larry wasn't somebody that I was tracking, going to be on that strategy of making one more stop. And he kind of changed his mode up a little bit pretty abruptly as we saw him fall back quite a bit there in the course of a lap or two. But it changed what he was doing and allowed him to do that. So we may still have some surprises left.
Yeah, I definitely would not doubt that. They feel definitely pretty spread out now. Say, what's that actually? Let's run through the field. Oh, never mind. We're not going to run through the field because we have a caution out. Looks like, the 00 Lewis Woodall's gone around. And so our strategy for everybody's thrown out the window. And this is going to be interesting to see what decisions are made. We feel like some drivers are going to have to pit, I feel like, no matter what. But then what do you do? I mean, if you're Logan Helton, Ryan Kelly, do you guys stay out because you can make it to the end, but you're going to have slightly older tires?
Yeah, that's when you really start analyzing everything you've been able to do so far this race during the various stages, old tires, fresh tires, start taking all that into account to make those kind of decisions.
Yeah, take a look here in turn number 1. And it looks like, the 54 and the 00 just make a little bit of contact there. Unfortunately, James Ledford, he gets a little bit of a piece of it as well. It actually looks like got more than a piece, unfortunately, but able to hang on to it there. So just those two making contact. They were both on the lead lap still. So just unfortunately a little bit of contact between the two of them. But looks like both able to get pointed back in the right direction. Say just a little bit of right front damage, I believe, for the 54 car. So, but we're going to jump back up front here because this is going to be decision time for the leaders. And right now, Chad Wilkes thinks he's going to pit. Does anybody go with him? Or we can see some fakes. Logan Helton stays out. Larry Yingling's going to stay out. Kevin Brown's staying out. So The ones that were already on that one-stop strategy are all staying out, but I don't know. I feel like this actually might kind of turn the momentum, if you will, now towards that 1721 because they're gonna have slightly fresher tires than these guys.
Yeah, and slightly fresher tires. I mean, in some cases like Roy Grandi, I mean, it's 10 laps on his tires.
Yeah, so I understand. I think what some of these guys are maybe doing is trying to save a set for maybe a late race caution as well. Because I think I need to do the math a little bit better. I'm trying to think. Do Brandon Pasolaco, do any of these guys have a set of tires remaining in the pits, or is that their last set there?
And to be honest, I haven't been keeping that close a track of it. Everybody's been on varying strategies, and we had Logan, not take tires early on and then come back in and get them. So I'm not really sure where anyone is on their tire strategy.
There's one way to find out. So he's our in-race admin, so we're going to make him be our in-race reporter at the same time. So we're going to bring in that 21 of Brandon Pasolaco, put him on the spot here. We're trying to keep up on the pit strategy here, Brandon, so we're going to put you on the spot. Obviously, pit strategy changing greatly now under this caution here. Was that your last set of tires to the end, or you still have one left in the bank?
I should lie and say I got one left in the bank, but no, the 17 and I just came down and took our last set of tires. So our bet was kind of made with the gas fuel mileage that we were getting. We had to come on lap 65 to 67, so we knew we had to do it on another pit stop. And with these other guys staying out, our only option now is to put some 4 fresh Goodyear tires on and then go rip through the field, hopefully.
Well, I mean, we've seen drivers do it. We saw Logan able to do it from in the 20s and get back up there, so I would not be surprised to see you guys be able to do it as well. So
yes,
it's going to be interesting to see us. I see the one to go, though, so I'll let you get back to work here, and good luck the rest of the way, Brandon.
10-4, thank you. Hopefully it's a good show.
All right, so there you go. So we know for sure a couple of these guys are going to be on their final set. And so what we saw there is a few of these drivers, like we mentioned, Roy Grandi and Andrew Pleshy, some of these guys that pitted a lot later, they're staying out. And I think this is in the hopes of using that last set of tires at a good point. As you can see, actually, the 82 Andrew Pleshy. If we do stay under green, you can see he's trying to save every drop of fuel on that number 82 car.
Yeah, down there on the apron, Todd Merkel doing the same thing behind him, just trying to get everything they can out of it. I think that's the way to go. I mean,
so unfortunately, though, for that 17-21, I thought more were going to come in with them, to be honest, but it does not look like that was the case. They're going to restart 19th and 20th. Some of those that did pit, looks like Splash of Fuel only, Mark Brown, Skylar Brown, they went fuel only in their car, so they'll still have a set of tires in the pits. But again, I mean, they're going to have a big range of differences on tires, so I mean, I think they can, as long as they stay clean and we can go green here, I can easily see them work their way back up into that top 5. And one of the drivers I'm going to watch is say it's only 1 lap difference, but we've seen 1 lap make a big difference. That top line, that 93 of Kevin Brown, he pitted 1 lap later than Logan Hilton, Ryan Kelly. Could that come into play here?
Yeah, and we know how aggressive Kevin is, so I'm expecting him to try to make moves very early on in this run.
Yeah, we'll see. So he's got that top line and says where you want to be, so he's going to have to try to work with Ryan Kelly here, which they've been together most of this race now. As they go back underway, Logan Hilton gets a good restart here, so we'll see what that top line can do here as they're about to head into turn number 1.
Yeah, Kevin's absolutely glued to the bumper of that 13. They're both going to have a run coming off the top. Kevin looks low, actually.
Yeah, I think he looked like Larry was going to clear the 13, so I think he wanted to kind of keep the momentum. Now he's going to lock on to Larry for just a moment there. But you're right, so we'll see if this move is going to work for Kevin. Can it get him that second position or not? Maybe try to get those spots while those tires are still fresh.
Yeah, he's going to have to do something. Not the move I would have made, but I'm not driving a race car. Not quite clearing Larry there, but they have all closed the gap on Logan Hilton.
Yeah, you're right. I say right now it's kind of a mixed bag of who's running top, who's running bottom right now. So I say Logan picked up Larry on the top side. Kevin's got the inside line with Ryan Kelly. And we talk about that inside line or the outside lines where you want to be for the momentum. Let's say with fresh tires, you can make the inside work for a little bit. As you can see, the 93 is able to hold pretty even there with Logan down the backstretch. We'll see if he maybe tries to pull a little bit of a side draft off that 63 car. You see Larry Yingling, though, is able to pull right back to him here as they stay right on the quarter panel of each other as they enter turn 3.
Yeah, just hard race and tough spot to be in. But Kevin is, not going to clear him this time either. And Logan's going to get the lap lead again.
Yeah, so at some point Kevin's going to have to try to find somewhere to kind of slide in here because Larry's going to be kind of working the that 63 Logan Helton. Skylar Brown runs the fastest lap of the race that last time around, a 37.472. Say again though, these two just the problem. You talk about Dale, that inside line, he might be burning up those tires, so that 93's got to be careful. He had that advantage of a lap, let's say, but at this point he might be losing that advantage here with fighting as hard as he is here.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just getting right there. He's getting to where their bumpers are about even and can't quite clear him. And the run Logan gets by the start-finish line, he's in the lead again.
Yeah, so it's probably Kevin yelling at his crew chief to try to get Larry to push me down the straightaways, not Logan. But so I think Larry right now is trying to see if he can get both these guys to use their stuff up as best as he can. It's close between the two of them there off of turn 2.
Yeah, and that's, that kind of thing right there is going to happen. It's just hard racing up front. We're under 20 laps to go. Nobody wants to give up a position at this point. So Logan's going to keep running as low as he can. Kevin's obviously restricted to running the low line currently.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So he's kind of forced to be down there. So I say again, this is about as far as he can get. He can get to about that quarter panel of that 63, but just can't quite get enough to finish the pass there. And I say the problem is while they've been doing this, slight contact between two of them, and there 1 and 2, you can see the smoke come off the tires there. And I say that's actually going to open the door. I think Larry probably had to react to that. It's going to give Kevin the opening to sneak in there and grab that second spot now.
Yeah, and they're battling so hard. They haven't been able to get away from anybody. You see the 13 Ryan Kelly now going to try that low line under Larry Yingling. I don't suspect it'll work, but again, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I say Ryan Kelly using his stuff. You see Skylar Brown trying to put a big block there on the 17 Chad Wilkes. Chad having none of it. He's going to go all the way down to the bottom there. He's going to try to make this pass in turn number 1 here. So I'm looking a little further back. Brandon Paslako, he has made his way into that top 10 here, Dale. We haven't been watching them, so we've had a big battle here up front. Actually, while we've been watching that fight behind him, Kevin DeBrown, he got around the 63 of Logan Helton. So we've got a new race leader there in that 93 car.
Yeah, he kind of held Logan up high a little bit on entrance and didn't let Logan have his preferred line, entering the corner. So the rules are going to change. We saw Logan drop all the way down to the yellow line there as Kevin stayed a lane higher.
Yeah, you're right. So now the 93 is going to have to play defense like we saw Logan do. So you're going to have to, when the 63 is going to, at some point, he's going to make a move, try to get to the inside of him. So you're going to probably see Kevin kind of try to pinch him down as well here. As you see Logan right away, he's going straight to that yellow line. He's going to wash up a little bit close. Contact between the two of them off of 2. Kevin hangs onto it somehow. So it's going to cost them both a ton of momentum, though. That's going to open the door for Ryan Kelly. He's going to take over the race lead after that contact.
Yeah, but the 10 of Skylar Brown is there.
Skylar, I think, got a little bit of a hip check almost to Ryan Kelly. Skylar Brown does not want to be denied here. He's going to take the race lead over here as we're going to cross now 15 to go. But again, look in that background, you see that 21 Brandon Paslako. He is creeping up slowly but surely.
I want to talk about how hard Logan Helton and Kevin Brown have been racing and point out they've been racing very hard, relatively clean. I don't think there's been any intentional contact, just everything being hard racing, a little bit of contact we did see. But these two guys have not raced around each other that much.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, a lot of these guys are familiar with each other. This is Kevin's first full season with the league, so, he's actually kind of learning a lot of these drivers. Skylar Brown's in the same way there, but you talk about, Chad Wilkes, Ryan Kelly, they've raced with each other week in and week out for a number of seasons here. Larry Yingling is in that group as well, so... but yes, right now, I think what's happening is that they know it's 14 to go, business picking up, and saying a few of these drivers and actually, the whole time I was talking about the... yeah, I'm sorry. The whole time I was talking about the 21 getting up to the front there, I forgot the 17 Ryan Kelly, 17 Chad Wilkes. He was on that same strategy, Dale. He pitted when the 21 did, so he's actually got himself up to the front here as he now fights for that lead with Skylar Brown.
I had totally forgot they were on the same pit strategy.
Yeah, I blanked it as well. So yeah, so actually Chad Wilkes had gotten to the front. He's going to have slightly fresher tires than Skylar Brown. Skylar, I believe, took fuel only, maybe took right side tires, not 100% sure there. But right now, these two definitely are right now actually kind of gapping the field here a little bit as they fight for the lead.
Yeah, and that talks a lot about their speed too, because they're pulling away from the 3rd and 4th position, and they're still racing side by side doing it.
Yeah, I'll say there's racing everywhere here on track. You see these two side by side. You see that 93 was trying to get underneath Ryan Kelly. That's brought Logan Helton right back into that mix. So yeah, so it's hard to keep track of who to watch right now because we've got fights all over the racetrack right now. Larry Yingling's trying to creep back into this picture as well. And so we talked about Brandon Passalacqua. He's now in that top 10. He's got to the outside line here, so he's going to try to work over Andrew Pleshy here for the 7th spot.
Larry's just kind of riding back here in that 6th position. Not really racing anybody super hard. I think he's just watching everything in front of him progress. But he does have Brandon Passalacqua right to his bumper now.
Yeah, saying that's the thing is, I mean, right now I think the 2 drivers, well, at least 2 drivers are the most tense right now are the 17 and the 21 because they know what they've got is what they've got. Everybody else is like, all right, I've got a set of tires left in the pits that I'd be ready to use here if we get a yellow. Whereas these guys are telling everybody, like, no, you guys stay green. We need this to go green to the end because otherwise we're in a bad spot. Because say this isn't like the Cup Series where they can put on a set of scuffs or anything like that. Once you use that last set of tires up, that's you're using that set to the end.
And you mentioned that. I really wish iRacing would implement that. Save, even if it was only one set of scuffs, save the best 4 tires and allow you to put them on later when you get into these types of situations.
It would actually. I do like the idea as well. It really changed things up. And I feel like it. I mean, I'm not a programmer, so I'm not sure what will all be involved. But I mean, you get to know what your tire wear is after all these races are completed. So it'd be a really fun thing to see. As you can see, Ryan Kelly, Logan Helton fighting hard here for that 3rd position here. Kevin Brown not giving up as well, still holding steady in the top 5. But Chad Wilkes on those fresh tires, he was able to clear Skylar Brown. We saw that a few laps ago. He's now been able to kind of start setting pace here and try to break that draft and get that fresh air in his car and try to see if he can sneak away here.
Yeah, Chad Wilkes is about a 10th faster than Skylar Brown, a little bit faster than Logan Helton behind him. But when you go back to Charles Johnson running the 39.107. We haven't talked about him much at all, but he's starting to find some speed and make some moves.
Yeah, I'd say Charles, I believe, was one of those ones also that pitted there on that last caution. Maybe he's trying to take it easy on his tires early to really be able to use them late in the run. So let everybody else kind of use their stuff up right away and then start going after him. So you're right. Say Charles making some big laps there. Now this last time by Logan Helton, the 63 quickest car on track, has gone back to that 3rd position. So he's not ready to call it quits. He's going to try to see if he can find a way to get up there. As also you can see the 13 and the 93 right behind them. But Brandon Passalacqua, he has gotten around Larry Yingling. That's going to move Brandon now up into 6th position. And so he's got a couple spots there right for the taking ready for him.
Yeah, Logan Helton dropping all the way to the bottom as Skylar stays high. They're definitely going to be battling this thing out going into 1 and 2. Oh, Skylar actually pulled on him.
Yeah, I think Skylar does not want to give that inside line. So it's one of those things where it's almost like the Kansas we talked about where you run the top side. You pretty much you actually protect the top side through the tri-oval. Usually everybody cuts to the bottom, shortcut the track, if you will. But here, we see that top line definitely has the momentum you want to have. So these guys definitely dedicated to running that top side here, even down those straightaways.
The 21 there, watching him back with kind of racing Kevin Brown, keeps looking to the inside, but really hasn't committed to it yet. I think he's got the tires. We know he's got the speed to get around him. I just think he's kind of paced himself a little bit.
Yeah, maybe just trying to get that timing at the right place and kind of where you can kind of make the pass happen and not get pinned to the inside and lose all that momentum. So right now, let's say lap times have started to settle out just a little bit. Skylar Brown, Logan Helton ran near identical laps, just 0.2 apart of one another. However, they were both about half a tenth quicker than Chad Wilkes here. So I'll say Chad's not out of the woods yet, so he's going to still have to fight these two off and pretty much hit perfect laps the rest of the way here as we're going to cross here. 6 to go at Michigan.
Yeah, there's only 0.6 of a gap between them, so Chad Wilkes is really going to have to be on his A game to hold Skylar Brown and Logan Helton off.
Yeah, I think he was listening to me because I think he was about the 2nd or 3rd fastest car on track, ran a 39.5 compared to the 39.4s for Skylar and Logan there. So actually, crazily enough, fastest car on track was the car right in front of Brandon Passalacqua, that 93 of Kevin Brown. So again, these guys just not giving an inch, just trying to fight for everything they have right here as we're going to have 5 to go this time by.
Yeah, 5. Everybody's spread out. I mean, I really don't see... There's always a potential for a caution, but the way everybody's racing, the way that the field's spread out, I don't really see it happening. And that's exactly what Chad Wilkes wants to see. This thing has to go green for him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, even with older tires, even if it's a short restart, we saw what happened to Logan when he tried to stay out that previous time. It took about not even half a lap, and those fresh tires were all over him. So you're right to say right now, like I said, Chad Wilkes, these are the longest 10 laps actually. If you think about when he took the lead, these are probably the longest laps of his career. Oh, as you see, Skylar Brown, and Logan Hilton both catch the wall off of turn number 4. It's going to cost them some momentum. That could open the door for Ryan Kelly to see if he can try to catch those two as well. As you see, Logan Hilton trying to see if he tried to get to the outside of that 10 car, couldn't do it though.
Yeah, but Ryan Kelly, Kevin Brown, and Brandon Paslock were gaining on them rapidly after they tagged the outside wall.
Yeah, and these two are starting to fight even harder, which is, again, just going to allow Chad Wilkes to sneak away just a little bit more. Now Logan Hilton's going to send it here into turn number 1. I think we're going to see one of those slide job attempts if he can make it happen. But it looks like Skylar going to hold steady on that outside line. So you can see just that little bit of mistake there, and then now you can see the pace that they're dropping off a little bit. Chad Wilkes stretched out to a second lead now as we have 3 to go. And like we said, here comes that 13 Ryan Kelly. We got about 6 cars here been fighting for these final 3 spots.
Yeah, Skylar Brown does not want to give up this second spot. This will be his highest finish, if the running order stays the way it is here at Area 51. So he definitely doesn't want to give that up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's what we talked about. He's had such good runs throughout the season, just hasn't had the finish to kind of show for it. And so it's like when you're 2-3 laps away from having your best result, you don't want to give it up. As you can see, these guys are going to fight now. Oh, you see James Ledford right there. They're going to fight now. Who's going to be able to try to steal a spot? You see Logan trying to squeeze between the lap car and the outside wall, but Skylar was having none of it there, Dale, as we have 2 to go here.
Look how close it was with Mike Kelly and Kevin Brown squeezing between Skylar Brown and the lap car. Incredibly close, just trying to get the run on that outside.
Yeah, like I said, everybody wants to get to that outside wall. And you see Logan was able to grab the spot, but now Skylar's going to duck inside. And this is where we talked about, we don't know if this is going to be the way to do it, because we talked about how it's going to kind of lose that momentum. However, he holds speed really well there off of the inside line, but most importantly, say not to forget about him, Chad Wilkes, he's going to get that white flag, Dale. That's about the second most important flag he could have hoped to see there, as we've got 1 to go here at Michigan. And behind him, though, we've got still a big fight going on for that 2nd, 3rd, 4th positions. Yeah,
Skylar Brown is really under attack right now. Logan got by him. Now you see Mike Kelly and Kevin Brown working by him on the outside.
Yeah, I just got pinned to that inside line, and this is what we talked about. There's just nothing you can do at that point. So I'll say right now, we're going to kind of keep an eye for the battle, but how we'll jump back up front. It's Chad Wilkes. He's going to bring this thing home to pull off the win tonight. Started 18th position, is going to get the win here tonight. Use the pit strategy to perfection. We're going to have a good fight here for that 3rd position. Looks like Ryan Kelly just going to hold off Kevin Brown. Logan Hilton going to grab 3rd. And then, there it goes. And it's Skylar Brown to say nothing going to be the result he wanted, but still brings home a top 5 in that number 10 machine. Saying that I think he probably fought as hard as anybody to hold on to that spot there.
Yeah, I mean, even though we've seen him up front, seen him run 2nd there for a long time, for Skylar to come home 5th from 19th, that's a huge gain. Great run. The chips kind of fell his way today, so still, even though it's 5th, congratulations to him.
Yeah, you see the field all coming up to congratulate Chad Wilkes. I feel like all of these guys probably feel like that was a well fought, well earned race for these guys tonight. But Chad Wilkes, to say he made the strategy and it paid off for him. He had to fight hard for it there, but it was well earned. And it's going to be a fun interview with him, I think, tonight.
Yeah, great strategy call. It's nice to see a race won on strategy, and he was so slick about it. He was in 2nd place before we realized what was going on.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We're talking about Brandon the whole time, and then I was looking at results. I was like, wait, Chad's up there. It's like, and I looked at the pit stops. I was like, wait a second, Chad was one of those that made that pit stop too. So, yeah, he kind of, I wouldn't say snuck under the radar, because he's never one to kind of be under the radar. But you're right though. I kind of kept my eyes on the 21 car, and he kind of slipped my view there for a little bit. But so he made sure he was there when it counted at the end. All right, so we'll watch Chad make a few more burnouts here, and then we will say actually doing a really good job of those burnouts there. I'd have hit the wall a handful of times there, but Chad celebrating that well-earned win tonight. I think a lot of these drivers are going to kind of probably take a breather after that one, so it's like he's going to bring that car into victory lane here at Michigan on the front stretch. So while he does that, we'll start off with our 3rd place finish there of that 13 of Ryan Kelly. All right, let's hunt down our third place finisher. That number 13 of Ryan Kelly. Let me find. Let's get the right camera. There we are. All right, pulling up our third place finisher. Ryan Kelly started on pole position tonight. Let's say kind of everybody was going after you. Say learned pretty much from the get go that that top line was going to be where you needed to be, as we saw the momentum just right from the beginning there, and then say just the way the whole race kind of panned out. Say some strategy calls between, I think you and Kevin, you both had topped off. Or not topped off, but you pitted on that short caution there, which right at about the 60 to go mark, along with Logan Helton there. Were you kind of hoping that was going to go green to the end to kind of let it be between the three of you guys for the win, or were you kind of open to just however that race fell out?
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to go green 100% because when I came down pit road that time, I actually didn't take tires. I only took gas. So I had an extra set for the end too. So I was really hoping it would stay green all the way, but yeah, the caution came out there and shuffled things up.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty wild finish to the end there, say with kind of the mixed strategies on tires and fuel and everything like that. I'll say one thing we did notice was even if those just couple of lap difference tires, I think it was maybe about 4 laps at most between when the caution came out, where then you guys went in for fuel only. And we saw Logan take the tires there. Did you expect him to have that big of an advantage on those tires?
I wasn't too sure. I was just trying to keep the tires under my car and try and, maybe it was so impossible to pass once the long run happened. So I feel like it didn't really matter what you did with your tires. You kind of just had to be up front when the time came when it was kind of getting hard to pass. So I was trying to save mine, and I wasn't too sure how big of a difference a couple laps would make on them.
So we definitely did see you have some pretty good long pace. To say it's kind of your what we kind of expect to see from you week in and week out. And say we were able to see that again tonight, where that pace definitely was showing on the long run. But like you said, though, you can get to the guy, but say if you can't get to their outside, it seemed like the inside line just with this package, I say just the momentum was just too important on the top side. You pretty much had to almost pull slide jobs we were talking about to make those passes happen, and just hope that they didn't get the run back on you. How aggressive did you feel like you had to be to make those passes tonight?
Yeah, definitely. It was slide job city for a while because it was pretty much the only way to successfully get in front of a car without because if he was on your outside, it was just pulling you back and you'd get tight and it was hard to pass. So you definitely had to do that slide job to make the pass happen.
Yeah, I'll say other than that, let's say at least for me, Dale, I'll say the one question I want to ask is that last run there to the end. I mean, it was wild from where we were sitting. I mean, how intense was that for you guys to kind of just seem like nobody was willing to pretty much give an inch there? I mean, how hard were you fighting there at the end?
Yeah, definitely. I was just focused on not letting anyone get to my outside and trying to capitalize on just little openings where maybe someone was running and left a little bit of space on the outside. It was definitely crucial that you took that space quickly.
Nah, he did an awesome job. So I don't know if you have anything on your end, Dale, you wanted to bug him before we make him do his shout-outs here.
Man, not really. Just for me, that was the most exciting race of the season from my perspective. Congratulations, man, on a very, very hard-fought third-place finish.
Thank you.
So well, that means you got the floor then here, Ryan. So I want to let you any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for that run tonight.
Yeah, just the admins as always for putting on the league and my teammates for this race. And thank you to you guys in the booth.
I'll say great job again tonight, Ryan. I'll say well fought, well earned third place finish here tonight, and look forward to catching again here soon, sir.
Sir, thank you.
All right, well, we got to switch over from our third place finisher to our second place finisher. We kind of joked at the beginning, Dale, say kind of bringing in the ringer here tonight, saying he definitely was one that was going to be up there in contention more often than not there tonight. So I think the first question I have for you, Logan, was that pit strategy where you stayed out, you took the fuel only, and that quick caution came out a few laps later, and then you're able to get those tires. Did you expect those tires to make as big of a difference as they did, as you kind of just somehow worked your way all the way up through the field there to get to, I think it was like second before that cycle of pit stops began?
I definitely knew that they would benefit me like a pretty good amount, but I wasn't expecting to be able to still have enough tire to race up front. I knew coming through the field would take some tire away from me, but once I got up there, I thought it would equalize, but I still had some more pace. It was just whether or not I could get clean air on the nose and get around them quick enough.
Lose you, Gail?
Yeah, it helps if I have the right button pushing there. Thank you, Dale. Let's say the other question I had, or another question I had was, yeah, early on, say you had to kind of work through some I wouldn't say incidents, but say some close calls. And I think actually you did have at one point an incident early on where say you kind of got caught up in a bad spot on the backstretch there where two cars got together and you were kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time and kind of doored you into the outside wall. I guess the first question on that one was, did you have damage from that forced you into a faster pair, or was it able to kind of just get fixed up on its own on that one?
After that wreck, I had engine damage and too much aero damage to even be competitive at this track since it's such a huge track and it's almost a super speedway if it had more banking. But I had to take a faster pair, my one and only faster pair in lap 15, and was able to keep it clean the rest of the way until a couple laps to go and I hit the wall because I followed the guy into it.
Yeah, I say you guys are going for all your worth there those last couple of laps, and I say obviously, I mean, I say we saw the 1-2 where you had to pretty much come to a stop there and kind of hope the smoke cleared when you got to him off of turn number 2, I believe it was as well. So you had a couple close calls, but I'd say the other one that you and Kevin Bradley, you guys were going for a tooth and nail there those last couple of laps. Or maybe about 10 to go, 15 to go. So you guys were fighting really hard for position. So unfortunately, a little bit of contact between the two of you cost you guys some momentum at the end, but. I mean, how difficult was it for you guys to kind of try to fight each other to, like, kind of keep the one pin down to the inside, or kind of try to keep yourself to the outside of that car, to try to keep that track position at the end?
The number one tricky thing was trying to tell where they're going to go because the bottom was really quick early on in the run, but as the run went on, you had to hit it perfect if you wanted to be quick on it. So if people would sometimes play it safe and run the middle, even though they're on the inside, or they try and be fast and run the bottom. So it was kind of hard to guess if you were the car on the outside, whether or not you were going to run the third lane or if you were going to run the middle where they would normally run. But whenever I was racing with Kevin there, I didn't really, he didn't do anything wrong, and it wasn't hard to hold it down there. I just made a dumb mistake and got to the gas too early. I got a little excited, but yeah, we were racing pretty hard there, and I need to go apologize to him one more time after that, as well.
It was, I'll say, at least from our point of view, Dale, I'll say I thought it was a ton of fun watching you guys fight it out there at the end. It was really exciting. I mean, like I was asking actually the same thing for Ryan. I mean, to me it seemed like you guys almost had to be white knuckling it there those last handful of laps. Just everybody all on top of one another. Say just the smallest mistake you knew was going to cost you a spot or two, if you kind of got the wrong line at the wrong time.
Yeah, on the restarts, we definitely had to drive pretty aggressive, and even in the middle of the run as well. But there was like a limit you could, because you'd burn the right front off. I tried to run the high side early on in the race, or not early on, more like in the middle of a run, and I was making up spots, but I found it burnt my right front off pretty good. I was at like 62 right front and 73 right rear or something. So yeah, I learned that for the last run, to stay away from the top and run more the middle and the bottom.
Yeah, I think Dale, I think you noticed that at one point too. You were talking about Logan kind of ripping the top and getting lots of momentum there. So I guess it was at the mercy of that right front tire there, though. But yeah, I'll say Dale, I don't know if you have any questions there, and before I let him kind of give his shout outs as well.
Yeah, man. Just you don't race here every week. We're super stoked when you do. We had the privilege of watching you at the podium race earlier this year. On that, just kind of want to talk about like what you're doing outside of Area 51. I heard you might be running a Road to Pro schedule.
Yes. So the reason I don't run Thursdays every week is because Road to Pro is also on Thursdays, and sometimes we are just working on the setup and stuff. Yeah, Thursday nights we run Road to Pro. Our next race is in 2 weeks at Richmond in the trucks. And other than that, just a Monday series and a Saturday open setup series. So definitely a lot of fun and not many races every week, but it's more practice now that I'm on an actual team. They need me practicing every chance I get.
Yeah, no, I got you there, man. Well, good luck with everything you're doing. You know, the Road to Pro, that's very very tough thing. You know, having to build setups and practice and prepare for all that. So good luck with all that. We definitely wish you the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I second exactly what he said there. I say it's a lot of fun to see. I know there's a lot of proud admins there saying like, oh yeah, I remember when Logan came in here, the amount he's grown since he started and how fast he is. And so as I know there's gonna be a lot of proud founding members, but like I remember when he was here with our first seasons and all that. So yeah, great job tonight, Logan. But definitely want to give you the floor though, and any thanks and shouts you'd like to give. I know you got a couple viewers here as well.
Yes, I would like to thank my friends and family for watching the race. You guys at Green White Checkered TV for putting on the broadcast. Area 51 for letting me race and all that stuff. All the competitors in the race that I had a lot of fun with racing tonight. And thanks to Splash and Go Graphics for the sweet ride they got me racing, and Nexus Esports as well.
Say well fought, harder and finished tonight, Logan. Say again, good luck on the Road to Pro side of things as well. Definitely hope to see you here when you have the availability, but definitely know you gotta obviously get lots of seat time in to be ready to compete against those guys. So yeah, enjoy this one though. Look forward to catching you again next time.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Dale, that's going to leave us one last person to talk to. That's going to be our race winner. So he's been on a bit of a tear here lately. So he's been having some plenty of interview time. He's going to be polishing off those interview skills, he's learning to do what he needs to do with his hands during the interviews and everything. That's going to be that 17 at Chad Wilkes. So say, I feel bad as I was all focused on where Brandon was after that pit stop strategy with the using up those last set of tires. And then we kind of looked up, there's like, wait a second, Chad's on the same strategy and he's like third and second, and he's going for the lead here. So I mean, take us through that last run there, Chad, and how stressed out were you there? Just worried about that last caution potentially coming out on that run.
Yeah, I was extremely worried. I mean, if the caution would have came out, it would have been over, obviously. So as soon as I got out front, I just tried to start saving like crazy in case we got a late caution. Maybe a couple guys would get adventurous and stay out, or nobody would stay out, and I would maybe be able to at least have the best tires out of everybody who was done with tires, and I'd finish 18th instead of 25th. But yeah, if a caution came out, obviously I'd have been toast. But I didn't have a choice because I ran so hard the first time trying to catch Brandon, and I was really faster than Brandon on that last run. But we practiced a lot together, and I mean, Brandon's just so hard to pass once he gets out in front at Michigan. I mean, he's just super consistent. Really doesn't make mistakes, and the dirty air really never gave me a chance to pass me, and then Logan ended up passing us, or passing me anyway. But yeah, I mean, I had to run hard, so when the caution came out, I already had like maybe 7 laps on my tires, so I'd have been dead if I didn't pit. So just pitted and hoped for a green flag run. I knew if a green flag run, I knew I'd be in pretty good shape, and I was.
Yeah, it worked out really well. Like you said, it's like we're kind of keeping an eye to see who was where. So you snuck through there at some point because at one point I caught Brandon kind of leaving that second group and kind of working his way towards the first group. So you'd already been there, so you were kind of already joining the party there. But so we talked to Ryan, we talked to Logan about obviously the line sight, how difficult it was, like you said, to pass. And it seemed like you said, just those, even the 6-lap tires, I mean, it made such a big difference when I thought that wouldn't be enough of a difference where they would eventually equalize. But is that something that you saw when you saw Logan able to get up to you guys on that slightly off cycle? Is that kind of what helped make your decision to use that final set?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I could be wrong. In my mind, he was only on like 1 or 2 lap newer tires or something, I thought. And I mean, yeah, he was just way, way faster. So yeah, I knew if I got new tires, obviously nobody'd be able to hold me off. And I actually, I passed Brandon. So when me and Brandon he pitted a lap before me on that long green flag run. And then while everybody else was staying out saving fuel, who had to pit on lap 70, I actually got around him. So I was able to come out in front of him. before that last restart, and I think he got held up or something because I think I got away from him pretty quick. But I'm pretty sure like he was in my mirror, like kind of following me through, and then at some point he wasn't. So I think he got caught up in lap traffic or something. Is kind of difficult back there because the closing speed's pretty big.
Yeah, just you guys, let's say a couple of drivers there we saw throughout the race having to work their way from the back to the front. I mean, you guys were fighting for all your worth. It was amazing to watch. I'm sure on your guys' end, there's times where it was very frustrating, but for Dale and I think this is probably one of the more exciting races that we've been a part of, just of drivers having to fight as hard as they did tonight. Do you feel like this was probably one of the tracks where you had to run harder than maybe you've done in previous races here?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely couldn't lose the draft or anything like that, so you had to run hard enough to stay up there. And I actually I don't know why I qualified like 18th. I thought I did okay, but apparently I wasn't doing something right. And so I had to come all the way up through the field, ended up getting hit and dropping back, use my fast repair, all that stuff, had to come all the way back up through. So I had to pass a lot of cars tonight, which is fun for sure. And luckily, early in runs is pretty easy to pass, but as soon as you get like 7-8 laps into a run, I mean, the dirty air just destroys whoever's behind. It starts getting really, really hard to pass. But yeah, I mean, I love the old Michigan back in the old package. When you actually had to like even break a little bit at certain points or whatever. And these cars are pretty much wide open for the first 5 or 6 laps, and then you kind of have to start feathering it and working on trying to get your nose in clean air and stuff like that. But I mean, it's definitely intense. The side drafting and where you're going to position your cars going down the straightaways, I'll definitely say you have to think more about what you're doing with your car on those long straights than you do at any other track I've ever raced at, including super speedways. I mean, just the way the side drafting was and where people were getting runs from. I mean, you had to be extremely smart where you position your car and trying to get away from side drafts and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely pretty crazy from behind the wheel, and yeah, it's definitely fun. And anytime I win is fun, and anytime I lose is not fun, regardless of where it is.
So you've been able to get a couple wins, let's say 2 in a row for you. Say Watkins Glen, obviously last week getting the win here at Michigan. Say 2 very, very different types of tracks, but you're able to get it done at both of them tonight. Or this, I should say, this past week or so, and obviously a couple podiums as well to go with those on the other series on the Indy side of things at Phoenix. So it's been definitely a good couple of weeks for you over here with Area 51. Say Dale, I don't know if you have any things you want to bug chat about here as well before we let him free.
That's 2 in a row coming into Texas next week, and I believe Sonoma. When are you gonna stop winning?
Well, I used to. The old Texas was like my favorite track on the sim. The new Texas, last time we were here, I ran good. I just I mismanaged some things, so I definitely learned something. I think I'll be okay next week. And then obviously Sonoma, I think Larry might be a little bit tougher to beat there than he was at Watkins Glen. Maybe I'm not. So yeah, I don't know. So, but I think Watkins or Sonoma will at least come down to me and Larry, and I think maybe once I start practicing it a little bit, I might be able to have the advantage there.
All right, man. Well, wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. But yeah, definitely though, before we let you go though, Chad, definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for that well-earned win this evening?
Yeah, thanks to all the teammates. This track especially, you definitely have to, not necessarily work together, but your teammate can definitely screw you or, make it hard for you or whatever. So it's good to have such a big group. And again, we put in a lot of time here over the last couple of weeks. And so for that, it's just really cool to have guys that you can just run with every now and then and try to get practice in. And this is the first season I've ever really practiced ovals. And it seems to be paying off a little bit. So I guess I'm going to keep doing it in between. I've got the Sebring 12 hours on Saturday, so I'm trying to find ways to get oval practice in between that. And so yeah, it's having those guys is great, and it's just really fun to be able to race in Discord with those guys. And we always seem to finish close to the front as a group, which is cool. And then obviously the league for putting everything on. As always, the admins and everything do a great job. And I know they work hard, and I know it's not easy to do. And then y'all for the broadcast, again, it's such a big deal to have a broadcast for a league, and y'all do a great job, and it's always great to be able to go back and watch them. So I really appreciate what y'all do as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to be a part of this one. I say great job again here tonight. Yeah, I say good luck at Sebring. I say I got to get some laps in myself because that track's going to be a little bumpy. So yeah, I say got to get comfortable over there. So good luck on that one though. And say again, congrats on this one. Look forward to catching again here soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Dale, that is our race winner, 17 of Chad Wilkes. And see kind of watching the super slow-mo of him burning it down on the front stretch. We'll pull up our final results, though, for tonight's event. So, see, Chad Wilkes there about 1.3 seconds over Logan Helton. Ryan Kelly third there, 1.5 off the pace. I say he was able to hold off Kevin Brown, though, for third position. Kevin Brown in fourth. Skylar Brown finishes in fifth. Brandon Pastelacqua used those fresh tires, got back up into that sixth position. And they got Larry Yingling. The streak is broken, Dale. The top 3, top 5 streak has unfortunately finally met its end. I'll have to do the math for next week and see how many races in a row that was. He had top 3s. Still got a top 10 out of it in the 7th position, though. And you got Robbie Richards in 8th. I didn't talk about Robbie that much, but he came on, 23rd to 8th for him, so great run for him. Kevin Hash rebounds as well up into that 9th position. Andrew Plushy in the top 10.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I just want to get on that I've never been in a broadcast for the Cup Series where we did not interview Larry.
I say half of me wants to just grab him down here just to get an interview just for the sake of getting an interview with him, but I probably doesn't want to do that if he doesn't get the top 3 finish. But yeah, so 11th through 20th, though, we've got Charles Johnson. Also a good result for him, grabbing that 11th spot. Mark Brown, Kevin Fries, James Lee, Gabe Butler, Dude Conrad, Dwight Plush, Todd Merkel, Michael Spell, and Andre Guerra in 20th. And then the remainder of the field, you got Josh Garner, Josh Schofner, Roy Grandy, Paul Patterson, Eric Laurie, James Ledford, Lewis Woodall had a good run going. Unfortunately, got caught up in a couple incidents that set him back. Bud Steele is not the night he was looking for with that damage to him. And unfortunately, Maxwell Caldwell, some hardware difficulties on his computer, wasn't able to make it this evening. Hopefully gets it back going, because I think he would have been one to definitely keep an eye on this week as well. So hopefully he'll be back in full action here next week, though. Yeah, that was a wild one though. The tonight, Dales. I mean, they were everywhere. As a top side, bottom side, they if there was a room to make the moves happen, they were going to take it. And so we saw a couple of drivers make slight contact with one another. So again, nothing essential. It's really hard racing here at Michigan. But yeah, that was a fun one to watch tonight.
Yeah, that was definitely the most exciting race that I've had the pleasure of broadcasting here at Area 51. I hope it keeps getting better.
Yeah, these guys have been doing a good job week in and week out, so I would not put it past them. Like you mentioned, next week we'll be at Texas. That'll be an interesting one as well. Say the way that track with that reconfiguration, say 1 and 2 is definitely the turn you got to make sure you slow down, get a nice rotation there. 3 and 4, your foot to the floor there. Maybe try to roll out a little bit to save some right front tire, but that's going to definitely be a tricky one, I think, as well. Kind of like this, actually. I feel like maybe just a little less wide, so it's going to be a lot of potential for some passing and some action over there at Texas. So looking forward to that one. And yeah, as always, Dale, thank you for joining here with me tonight. I say it's a lot of fun, and look forward to catching you here on Sunday. We'll be back with the Super Speedway Cup Series.
Yeah, man, it's always a good time. Thanks for having me.
All right, so yes, I definitely plenty of viewers this evening. Really appreciate you all watching. I hope you enjoyed the show this evening. These guys put on a really good show from where we were watching. So I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to catching you all on Sunday night for the Super Speedway Cup Series. And of course, happy Friday Eve. Hope your weeks have been going well. But until then, as always, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And until Sunday, have a good night.